Yes, kids, if you read Mein Kampf, if you read My Struggle, by Adolf Hitler, you're a Nazi, clearly. Yeah, no, I remember buying that book, and I was read part of it. It's kind of dull, and he's just Adolf Hitler is too much of a poet. He's and these weird allusions to all this, Germanic literature and all this stuff, and I don't know. Yeah, it must have been me. It's just a full-on assault out here, guys. It's incredible. Yeah, you could learn about it in Eugenics, Sports, and Fire Years. That's the book I'm just about finished with. I should wrap it up real quick because these people are they're gonna kill me, you know. And this new fucking nanotech I've never previously encountered, it could fucking destroy me. I was trying to influence it with specific electromagnetic frequencies. I'm not sure I can. It's like it's employing all my. I'm like harnessing all this fucking bone power and. Oh geez, I don't know, man. I don't think it can. I don't think I have enough integrity anymore to really rein it in. It may kill me. So anyway, getting back to it. So this so my father became acquainted with this other man in the neighborhood, and it seemed that they were sort of kindred spirits from what I gather. And so that man mentioned that he had a girl, a daughter, about my age. And so it was like they were trying to match make us, or something. I got the sense, And she was, I must have been 12 at the time. And, we played basketball. Oh, she was a year younger, so she was she was a bit of a tomboy, a little bit, and she was very exciting to me. I found her very exciting, and I thought she was very pretty. So we played basketball a couple of times, and I. And so I was there in the South Hills, a bright sunny day, big house. I was down in this big room with a couple of bookshelves full of books, and I was searching for one to read. It's there in the sunlight streaming in from the window, and you see, I caught this voice to skull transmission, and somebody was telling me that if I don't stay away from that girl, they'll kill her father. And I thought to myself, where's this coming from? And I made a connection with some van and some seemingly maintenance worker types who really just looked like spooks, really, and that I'd seen earlier in the week. And And they looked at me. One of them looked at me, and he was the type, you know, I had dealt with before. I'd never seen him before, but he just had that aura about him. And so at any rate, I kind of shrugged it off, and I said, "Well, no, they wouldn't really do that, would they? No, they wouldn't really do that. You know, I could see her again, couldn't I?" And I did go down there. But she wasn't at home. Then after that, I kind of thought, you know what? Yeah, maybe I really should stay away. I think I did. I did see her briefly one more time. Maybe they were planning to kill her father anyway. Not really sure, but I don't know what line of work he was in. But you know. But he you know, I found out like 2 months later that very unexpectedly he had gotten cancer, and you know, he swiftly declined. He died. It was very unexpected. And when I heard about that from my mother, I was, you know, of course, you know, I knew that, you know, they had made good on their promise, and you know, I thought, well, you know, I'd really just like to die, maybe, or you know, I was thinking, you know, well, maybe I could somehow take the place of her father. Of course, you know, I was only maybe 13 at the time, and you know, it's just kind of ridiculous. But so, and anyway, I that kind of anyway. There's this. Yeah. Well. Anyway. So, you know, she had to move away from that neighborhood. Because her father was not there to bring in income. And then I learned later that, I don't know that I should go into this, but I learned later that her brother had kind of gone astray, and, you know, years later, and somehow, some way, and then he got killed or something. And I learned, well, that was about it. Oh God, you know. But anyway, so they're you know, that's just a minor little thing in the grand scheme of it, and but you know, more recently, they're leading me to believe that this girl that I was trying to look after and trying to make a connection with, and this girl that they, you know, who had been manipulated quite heavily. You know, she'd been experimented with, and you know, she'd gone a little crazy. And thing is, you know, I know I can help her. I know I can cure her, you know, to a great degree. I know I can. I know how. And it kind of led me to believe via Voice to Skull that they've done something to her, something awful, that they may have put her on a hypnotic drug and gang raped her, and then sterilized her. I caught this vision, you know, of this crude scalpel with little dings in it, and that somebody had made. And you know, close up of some pale skin, and you know, they said we're going to make sure that she doesn't spawn any gabies, you know. These people, they really don't know how things work at all, and just like to feel superior to somebody, and they're sadomasochists, and they're but you know, I mean, the average person cannot relate to this at all, and so they think it's made up, and they think I'm a pathological liar, and evidently you know, like serial killers, and you know, they only exist in movies. They're not real, and popping off the deep set for the joy of the general learn. Popping off the deep set for the joy of the general learn. It's what's been playing in my mind all day long. And this headache's getting increasingly worse. Destroying my mental architecture, and soon I'll just be this yammering muck. I'm already terribly disorganized. I can't get high anymore. It's another thing. I tried a fairly substantial bit of cannabis, and nothing at all. I've been getting dizzy. I've got a spreading pain in my back, and oh Jesus. Well, let's see. At least I can ground here. Swastikas and SS. So I wrote a book back in 2014, Emo Apocalypse in Summertime. It follows the path of a real modern day anti-hero, a mass shooter, and he was under military mind control, and he anyway, it seems that he's got he's got his reasons that are based in conspiracies. So essentially, some have a problem with it because it seemingly encourages violence. The thing is, people don't understand about programming is that it's a tremendously complex thing. It's very multifaceted. It's a multi-motive. Yep. They need to be able to manipulate multiple motives to bring about the outcome that they're seeking. People are pushed and pulled in different directions. You know, when you got when they wind up as an extra puzzle piece, that's when they get slotted for ruin. but it could happen to anybody. I'm here to tell you. But especially if you join the military now, my experience with the Army was, I simply don't know if they have programs like that. But the Marine Corps did. They, a subset of those people really do see themselves as elite. And, they got connections with the CIA, family connections, and so forth. Spooks, they're multi-generational oftentimes. And they're trying to infiltrate every aspect of society. But I don't, the thing is, what I was trying to do, the whole thing is actually harm reduction. The thing is, people like myself exist. And I beat the programming, in my early 20s, though, it was very dicey. And I would have these feelings come over me, these homicidal feelings just come over me all of a sudden. Telling me to, kill my family, and just out of nowhere, apropos of nothing. Nothing seemed to trigger them. I couldn't figure it out. Kill my family, and then and it was designed to get me to rejoin the Marine Corps. That's why I had been programmed thusly. They really wanted me to re-enlist. They sent about a dozen people my way, telling me to re-enlist. Even this one guy who'd been out for like 15 years and been an accountant or something. He came back in his late 40s. And they just wanted, evidently they just wanted to consult with him now and again. This Black Ops group. That's all. Quite a, anyway. So that's what happens. Well, the whole thing is slightly exaggerated in some respects, but I actually pull, my punches quite a bit, all things considered, and there isn't much useful intel there. I guess I was just scared, But now they're going to ruin me. Well, this niacin and charcoal powder seems to work. I've noticed different parts of my body warm up. First my head and neck, and it kind of moved down, and it's in my legs for a while, and then down in my lower abdomen. So it's it was here, spleen and liver, and so maybe it really is sort of systematically destroying the nanotech, and then the niacin opens up what kind of channels through the tissues, and the charcoal surrounds the intestinal villi, and it has an ionic charge that attracts in the all these different toxins and toxic metal, heavy metal particles, which is usually what nanotech is composed of. But it is harm reduction, because I was trying to get people to recognize, people who may have been programmed, MKUltra agents, may have been, maybe they recognize this programming within themselves as maybe a bit of a tool for that, and then they may only, I don't know, I suppose I encourage bank robbery. Nobody has to get hurt, and I guess, somehow I'm encouraging bank robbery, even though there's been a million books and movies featuring bank robbery, It's just ridiculous. So it's somehow anti-military. It's like these things can't happen. No, when they don't happen, they do happen. And worse. So, I don't know. What else? So there's a connection in the minds of people between AR-15s, the Vietnam War, they're saying that I'm making a connection between AR-15s, the Vietnam War, coupled magazines, MKUltra, satanic, rituals, and child abuse, and I don't know. I guess I don't know what else. And so this is a counter narrative to their wonderful, simplistic propaganda, which is fine, it has its place, slow-mo shots of good-looking folks at the range, turning, shooting guns and turning and smiling, and it's a bright sunny day, and all that kind of. There are a variety of people there, and they're all having fun. That's all good and well, Some of the stuff I was doing with my old channel, I was acknowledging that people are indoctrinated, is what I was doing, and I was meeting them halfway. I was saying, I understand you have these kind of concerns. In a roundabout way, I was saying, I understand you have these concerns. But hey, ultimately, my company's not involved in that. It's ridiculous to think so. And ultimately, I'm not responsible for anything like that. And people have a right to defend themselves. Everybody does. And you can be in a little war of your own. And who knows? not some things that people fear, but some things certainly. And okay. You know, those don't look like lightning bolts. They're not sig runes. You know, Nazism was a defunct political movement of the early 20th century. And World War II was a long time ago. And the veterans left over who are still alive, you know, they're, I doubt they're really that sensitive. But, you know, somehow our allegiance is to the dead more than it is to the living. I am a victim of war. I'm a victim of the Vietnam War. And to a lesser extent, a victim of, you know, I'm not going to say the operation names, Iraq and Afghanistan. What happened to me in Iraq and Afghanistan was nothing compared to what happened to me at the age of 7. And all the stuff that has occurred in this cold civil war, which I've endured. Well, thank you for watching, and you know, keep prepping.